Go ahead and get started. I'd like to start by inviting Officer Joel Shepard up to the podium for our invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to come here tonight. Thank you that we live in a country that's free. I just ask, Lord, that you will bless this meeting and be with us and help us to serve you in all things. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I now call the January 6, 2015 regular meeting of City Council to order. I ask that you please rise to pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll ask the Assistant City Clerk to take roll call.
Mr. Meyer.
Present.
Mr. Burke.
Here.
Mr. Dunhoft.
Here.
Ms. Skidmore.
Here.
Ms. Sudkamp.
Here.
Ms. Pitts.
Here.
Ms. Kyle.
Here.
Ms. Cahill.
Here.
Mr. Cahill.
Here.
Mr. Skidmore.
Here.
Mr. Blankenship.
Here.
Mr. Howard.
Here.
We have a quorum. You should have received the minutes from the regular meeting dated December 2nd and the special meetings from December 16th, the special meeting from December 16th. Are there any corrections or additions to be made at this time? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that they be adopted as presented. Sorry. First by Mr. Burke, second by Mr. Dunhoft. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. It's time for special presentations. I'll turn the floor over to Officer Joel Shepard again for the students from Miles Elementary School.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, thank you for the opportunity to come here tonight. My name is Joel Shepard. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the DARE officer for the Erlanger Police Department and also elementary school SRO. I just wanted to take a few minutes tonight to tell you about the DARE program, and then I'm going to invite 3 of our DARE essay winners, 1 from Miles and 2 from Lindeman, to come up and share their essays with you. The DARE program has been taught in Erlanger for over 20 years, and currently it is an 8-week program, and during that time we teach the kids to learn about how to resist bullying, how to resist drugs, alcohol, tobacco, the resistance strategies that they need to succeed in life, and also how to stand up and be what we call a upstander when it comes to bullying, to stand up against bullying. We also teach them of the dangers of drugs and alcohol and tobacco. At the end of the program, all the students have to write a DARE essay. Those essays are then graded by the teachers, and usually about 10 students are picked to read that in each class, and then they are awarded first, second, and third place. First place winners this year, thought we'd try something a little different, allow them to come to council and read it for you. So without further ado, I'd like to call up Jake Davidson from Mrs. Curtis's class at Lindeman to be our first DARE essay winner for the night.
Do you ever wonder what DARE is? Do you ever think about what kids do in DARE? Well, DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. I learned the danger of drugs and strategies to resist them. Drugs could possibly kill you. You could die from an overdose or even worse. Marijuana. One common drug that I learned how to resist is marijuana. Has someone ever asked you to do marijuana and you didn't know what to say? According to the DARE booklet, marijuana users have more cold and upper respiratory problems and breathing problems. Well, here are some ways to be in charge. When someone is offering you a drug, walk away. When someone is offering you a drug, walk away when they say, "Do you want some? Do you?" Walk away and say no at the same time. Another way to be in charge is repeated refusal, like a skipping CD. If they keep asking or insisting, say no until they stop asking you to do marijuana. People smoke this drug because they want to feel good later in life, but they feel even worse after they do. This is just one of the drugs that I learned how to resist in DARE, tobacco. Another common drug that I learned how to resist is tobacco. Has someone ever asked you to do tobacco and you thought you would say yes because he or she was your best friend? You thought he or she wouldn't be your best friend if you didn't do it. According to the DARE booklet, smoking causes heart disease, and cigarettes contain nicotine, a power addictive substance. So when you smoke tobacco, it will get you addicted, and you will want more and more. Well, here are some ways to resist tobacco. Giving a reason or fact like this: almost 50,000 deaths per year can be attributed to secondhand smoke. This is just one fact you could use for excuse for not smoking tobacco. A reason you could give is, no, let's go play ball instead. This is just one way you could change the subject and read on to find out about alcohol. Another common drug that I learned how to resist is alcohol. Has someone ever asked you to drink alcohol and you didn't know what to say? According to the DARE booklet, there are 75,000 alcohol-related deaths each year in the U.S., and mixing alcohol with medicine is very dangerous. So most alcoholics die from drinking alcohol. Well, here are some ways to resist drinking alcohol. Say no, loud. When they ask you to drink, you yell no. Another way to resist alcohol is use humor, like, no, I need all my brain cells. These are just some other ways to resist doing all drugs. So DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education, and DARE learn how to resist drugs, and I hope you know what to say when someone asks you to do a drug. I hope you say no. If you say yes, don't expect to be severely sick or have a chance to die. Think twice about doing any drugs.
Our next winner from Mrs. Willoughby's class at Lindeman Elementary is Heaven Philpott.
Freeze, stop using drugs. Over the past 9 weeks, Officer Shepard taught my 5th grade class all about drugs, bullying, ways to be in charge, peer pressure, and more. Here are the 3 most important things I learned in DARE. The first important idea I learned in DARE is about marijuana and its health effects. Marijuana can be very addictive. I know a guy who smokes marijuana. He can't stop smoking it. He also says that when he can't smoke it, his hands start shaking. When somebody says marijuana is not addictive, it is. That guy has been on it for 5 years. He can't stop. Also, marijuana can affect your brain and body. You can have short-term memory loss. Short-term memory loss is where you can't remember things for a long period of time. Some people who take marijuana have the inability to concentrate too. Weird, huh? Do you want to play sports or ride your bike? Well, if you smoke marijuana, then it affects your ability to judge distance, also speed and reaction time. These are very important in sports and even in riding your bike. Another thing is smoking marijuana causes breathing problems. Not being able to breathe is not very good. You also cough very often when you smoke marijuana too. Now you know some health effects from marijuana use. Also in DARE, I learned different ways to be in charge. Walking away is one way to be in charge. This is a good way if you are shy too. When you do the walking away strategy, you simply say no and walk away while saying it. If you are shy, then you might like this way because you don't have to say it directly to their face, and it still gets the message across. Another way you can be in charge is using the strength in numbers strategy. This involves hanging around with non-users, especially where drug use is expected. Non-users are people who don't smoke or take any drugs. Drug use is when somebody takes drugs. When you use strength in numbers, you don't say a thing and your friends take over. That means your friends stick up for you and they say no with a strong and firm voice. Also, saying no is a third strategy I will be talking about. This is a very confident and loud strategy. When somebody about your age says, "Would you like a cigarette?" then you would say no with a loud, firm, and confident voice. If you are shy, then this might not be the right one for you. When I was walking with my friend, she said, "I dare you to cuss." I said no with a loud and firm voice. She backed away and knew I wasn't playing. Maybe in school you can use these ways so that you can be in charge. Finally, the third important idea I learned in DARE was bullying. Bullying is not when somebody calls you a name one time. Bullying is an aggressive or unwanted behavior used again and again to isolate, harm, or control another person. Here are the 5 W's of reporting bullying. You say who bullied you, what he or she did to you, where he or she bullied you, and why he or she bullies you. Finally, you find out safe and responsible ways to report bullying. In DARE, Officer Shepard taught us another really important thing to know when your friend or someone else is getting bullied. It is be an upstander, not a bystander. This means when someone else is getting bullied, don't stand around and just watch. That's being a bystander. But being an upstander means to stand up for the person who is getting bullied. You have to be confident and say no, and the bully will stop. DARE has taught me a lot of things about bullying. Let's try being an upstander, not a bystander. Want drugs? No. Officer Shepard has taught me and my classmates a lot of exciting and serious things, including the 3 most important things you just read.
Our last DARE essay winner is from Miles, and her name is Madison Neary. She's in Miss Goodnose class. Madison.
Hi, have you ever heard of a program called DARE? It is an acronym that stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. I got taught DARE by an amazing school resource officer, Officer Shepard. I learned so much in DARE, and I'm going to teach you all about DARE. I'm going to teach you about drugs, smoking, tobacco, drinking alcohol, and bullying. Do not do drugs. It can harm you in so many different ways, such as losing control of your body, breathing problems, and drugs can tear your family apart. Drugs are very addicting. If someone offers you drugs, say no. Just whatever you do, say no and walk away. One time, I saw and heard a boy ask another boy for drugs. I got away and never went back to that place. If you ever see someone doing drugs, get away. Have you ever compared a smoker's lungs to a non-smoker's lungs? There's a big difference. A smoker's lungs are all black and nasty. A non-smoker's lungs are nice, pink, and clean. Did you know that smokers are more likely to get colds or even cancer? Marijuana is smoked. Marijuana causes short-term memory loss, loss of ability to concentrate, slows coordination and reflexes, and affects your ability to judge distance, speed, and reaction time. These are important in sports or even riding a bike. Some people smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes contain nicotine. Nicotine is very addicting. This is what some people spend their money on instead of spending their money on food, water, clothes, car, or even shelter like a house or an apartment. Try your best to stay away when someone is smoking. You could be harmed by secondhand smoke. A lot of people die from smoking, so never ever smoke. Have you ever seen someone with their bottom lip popped out? They probably had tobacco. Tobacco has 2 most common types, chewing it and smoking it. If you chew it, I went tobacco, that is when your lip would be popped out most of the time. If you smoke it, it is basically like a cigarette. If you are a tobacco user, you are more likely to get gum disease than a non-user. So do your best. So your best bet is to be a non-user. Don't take the risk to be a user. Has your mom or dad ever sat down to drink a beer? Beer contains alcohol. Alcohol is illegal for anyone under 21. If too much alcohol is entered into the human body, it could start to kill brain cells. Then if too many brain cells are killed, it can kill you. Drinking alcohol can cause loss of coordination, also not able to walk or ride a bike, sports, or even talking. So there is a great answer if someone asks you to drink alcohol, say no, especially if you are under 21. Have you ever seen someone being bullied? I have. I saw someone pushed down and then the bully took his shoe and threw them. I went over to him and I said, stop. He grabbed me by the neck and pulled it. It hurt. I got an adult. Try not to go over to them. I didn't think before I went. I'm sorry. If you are reporting, not tattling, which means to get someone in trouble for a harmless action. Anyway, when you report, it is who, when, where, what are they doing, and how can someone help you not to be bullied. Bullying is like a piece of paper. If you say mean things to it, it crumbles up. If you say nice things to it, it becomes uncrumbled. But there are still dents and creases. Remember, if you or someone else is being bullied, get an adult. So I hope you learned a lot about DARE. Remember what it means? Now you know to be good and kind. Also stay away and stay drug-free. These bad things I talked about destroy families and lives. So that's why you do not do drugs, smoke, drink alcohol, chew tobacco, or especially bully.
I'm going to move this stool because I don't need it. Thank you very much for the opportunity to allow them to come and read. It means a great deal to them, means a great deal to me. And I appreciate the opportunity to continue being their DARE officer and their school resource officer. I've said it before in this council, it's probably the greatest thing to be able to retire, then come back and work with children and realize that a lot of the stuff that we saw as police officers, this is the greatest therapy that you'll ever have, is to work with these wonderful children. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, children. You did a fantastic job, as I knew you would. And we hope to see you next year with some more winners.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you.
Thanks for having the courage to get up and read those essays. It can be scary, can it? Up at that podium? Yeah. I know. Okay, next I'd like to introduce Mayor Hartfield from City of Crescent Springs. He's asked to address council this evening. Welcome.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council and residents. I'm Lou Hartfield, and I'm here tonight representing the Rear Commander, Captain Andrew Holler of the 1,320th Field Artillery Regiment, to present a gift to the City of Erlanger in appreciation for support above and beyond of Bravo Battery during our latest deployment in Afghanistan. To introduce, I'm the Crescent Springs volunteer for ASA Adoptee Unit. Jane Terrell is a volunteer from Villa Hills. Libby Baker is a volunteer from Lakeside Park. And Sherry Hoffman and Mike Dancing are representing Erlanger. Together, our four cities each support one of the four batteries of the 1,320th Field Artillery Regiment. The artwork being presented tonight is a depiction of some of the 1-3-20th efforts during enduring freedom in Afghanistan, 2010-2011. If you want to uncover the picture. It's titled, Strike into the Heart of the Taliban. Oops. It was covered.
You're kidding me.
Strike into the heart of the Taliban with a quote under that reads, I am a strike soldier. I fight where told and win where I fight. The artist, James Dietz, is known for his capturing military ground action with particular attention to the mood, setting, and the people in the original oil paintings. This is signed and numbered copy of Mr. Dietz's work and includes the 101st Airborne logo, along with the 1-3-20th airstrike insignia. It's my honor tonight to present this artwork to the City of Erlanger for your extraordinary efforts on behalf of your adopted soldiers. Thank you all for all you do, Americans supporting Americans. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Beautiful. Next on the agenda, we've got the oath of office ceremony. Chief Ahrens, would you please come forward?
Okay, we have 3 officers who are going to be sworn tonight. I'd like to call, we'll do them all together. I'd like to call Michael Clark up first. Michael Clark is a graduate of Boone County High School. He studied criminal justice at Gateway Technical College. He was a Boone County jailer prior to us hiring him. And he is just a newlywed. His wife, Laura, is in the audience. I believe is going to hold the Bible.
I think I'm going to do my sister.
Okay, go up front for a minute. Next one is Josh Nezzi. Josh Nezzi is a graduate of Holmes High School. He served in the United States Air Force for 4 years. He also worked at Boone County Jail, and when we hired him, he was employed at Wild Flavors. Josh has a son, Max, who is 5 years old. Go up. Who's going to hold your Bible? Max. Next one's Kyle O'Hara.
My man.
Kyle is a graduate of Rowell High School and also a graduate of Lindsey Wilson College with a degree in criminal justice and communications. Kyle also played baseball for Lindsey Wilson. Prior to us hiring him, he worked at Cary Nissan. And you're going to hold your Bible? His mother?
All right, gentlemen, are you ready to take the constitutional oath? Please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of police officer according to the law? And do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have you sent a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God. Congratulations. Good job, Kyle. All right, next on the agenda is a municipal order. Mr. Wickman, would you please read the municipal order?
Yes, sir. It's a municipal order of the City of Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the reappointment of Earl Franks as a member of the Code Enforcement Board for the City of Erlanger.
Mr. Franks, will you please come forward? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, excuse me. Do I entertain a motion to adopt this municipal order as read?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Dunhoff, seconded by Mr. Burke. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Franks? Are you ready to take the constitutional oath? Yes. Please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Do you, Earl Franks, solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of Code Enforcement Board member, according to the law, and do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you being a citizen of this state have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within the state nor out of it, nor have you sent a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God. Congratulations, Mr. Franks. Thank you. All right, Mr. Fields, would you please introduce Mr. Oh, no, I'm sorry, excuse me. Okay, next on the agenda is our service award ceremony. First up is Mr. Blankenship. City Council, 10 years. Okay. Mr. Blankenship graduated from Lloyd High School in 1979 and was awarded the Presidential Scholarship to the Northern Kentucky University. He received his BA from NKU magna cum laude in 1983 and was awarded a full scholarship to Chase College of Law. He graduated from Chase College of Law, magna cum laude, first in his class in 1986. He was admitted to practice law in Ohio, or he is admitted, excuse me. Yes, you still are, to practice law in Ohio and Kentucky before the United States District Courts for the Northern District of Ohio and Southern District of Ohio, the Eastern District of Kentucky, the Western District of Kentucky, and the Southern District of Indiana. He's also admitted to practice before the United States Court of Appeals for the 6th District, for the 7th Circuit, and the United States Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces. He's also admitted in the United States Supreme Court and has handled cases in all of these courts and has also represented service members in court-martial proceedings. He was a partner in the Cincinnati law firm of Robbins, Kelly, Patterson, and Tucker until 2007, at which time he formed a new firm, Blankenship, Massey, and Associates, with offices in Erlanger and Dry Ridge. He's taught courses in legal ethics, personal injury cases, constitutional law, employment law, and law and corporations at Beckfield College, at Chase College of Law, and at various continuing legal education seminars. He currently serves as chairman of the board for Baptist Life Communities, a nonprofit organization which provides housing for seniors, and serves on the board for the Envision Learning Center, a nonprofit organization which seeks to improve educational opportunities for lower-income children. He was appointed by the Ohio Supreme Court to serve on its Continuing Legal Education Committee and has served as co-chair of the Labor and Employment Law section of the Northern Kentucky Bar Association. He's been married to his wife, Kathy, for 30 years. He has 2 children, Amy, who is 23 years old, a summa cum laude graduate of the University of Kentucky, who currently resides in Nashville, and Benjamin, age 21, who recently enlisted in the United States Army and has been selected to serve in Special Forces. Upon completion of his training, he will be a Green Beret. Both Amy and Ben graduated from Lloyd High School. And I'll add one more thing. He lives in a beautiful historical home here in Erlanger. Thank you. Randy, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate this. I can't believe how fast 10 years have gone by, but I want to thank the citizens and the voters of Erlanger for giving me the opportunity to be of service. It's been an incredibly quick 10 years. It's been a pleasure to serve on council. We've had a great number of people on council over the years that have done such a good job, and what I've always loved about this council is we always get along pretty well. We agree with each other a lot of times. We disagree with each other sometimes, and even when we disagree, we've never been very disagreeable. So it's been a real pleasure to be on this council. Thank you.
Next up, we've got Tim Herman.
Can we do Mr. Miller at the same time, too? Herbert Miller and Mr. Tim Herman. I want to say a little bit about these 2 gentlemen. 15 years for Mr. Herman, 10 years for Mr. Miller. The Codes Enforcement Board. I know you just saw Mr. Franks get sworn in. It's a very thankless job, and these gentlemen serve on this, and it's basically judging your neighbors and the things that come in before that board for them to rule on. It's not a very pleasant job sometimes. You all have served us greatly. We appreciate the service that you've had with us, and thank you very much. 15 and 10. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Say something. No?
I really don't have a lot to say. I'm just happy to be able to serve the city that I live in and give back a little something for all the services and the happiness I have living in Erlanger. So.
I would like to confirm the words of him. It's a pleasure to serve on the board and again make our contribution to the city that we live in. Again, thank you.
Ms. Hopkins.
Go cry.
Becky started her career here as our IT director. Most of you will remember when before this building was built, we lived in a little office down here that's no longer there, a little building right here along Donaldson Road that we tore down. It was our temporary. That was what Becky was thrown into to try to build the IT that we have today. As you can tell, and you see, everybody has their devices in front of them, where we've come from 15 years ago until today. None of that would have been possible without Becky and the hard work that she put in from the very beginning of this. Last year, we had the pleasure of switching Becky's job to a new title, Community Liaison. It's new to the city, new to all of us. Becky took to it like a fish in water. How about that one? Yeah. Along the line, sometime at the beginning of this year, not this year now, but in 14, we lost what was our events planner. Looking at that and not replacing that job right away, I asked Becky if she would take over those duties, and she graciously accepted that and was really in charge of our events for the whole year, plus all of her other duties that she had. I think any of us that have been to some of the events this past year know how hard that she worked to make those successful, and I think she has done that marvelously. I thank you. I know you've helped me in my position this past year. I appreciate it, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
I want to reiterate what Randy Blankenship said. The 15 years have gone by very rapidly, and I thank you, each and every one, for your support through two very polar positions here within the city, and having an open mind and working with me and just seeing where all of this goes. Thank you for the opportunity to continue to serve.
Next up, Mr. Bogard, would you come up? We've got Joe Doherty.
Come on up, Joe. All right, Joe's been with us since January 7th of 2005. He comes to us with a fire service background, served as a volunteer in Florence for many years, and has a great experience with CDL regulations through his years of experience in the trucking industry. Serves as our safety team representative on the city safety team. He also serves as our training coordinator and safety officer for Public Works. And then most recently, within about the last 2 years, he stepped into the role of sign shop coordinator. So Joe does a great job. He's picking up where Tim left off in the sign shop. And so Joe, congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
So,
Mayor, Council, I just want to say thanks for this opportunity. It's been 10 great years, so hopefully 17 more great years. Thank you.
Joe, what does that sign say in your office?
I have love, I have all love to give.
All right. All right, next up, Chief Ahrens, if you'd come forward, and Lucy Riffle.
Wow, 35-year pin. Lucy worked part-time in administration from 72 to 73. Volunteered on the Erlanger Rescue Squad from 78 to 92, served as lieutenant colonel and colonel of the squad. Volunteered on the fire department's auxiliary from 1980 to 2002. Worked as a police department clerk and dispatcher from 1984 to 1991. Served on the Board of Adjustments from 1995 to 2009. Currently employed part-time as a police department clerk since 2007. Ex-Chief Fields recruited Lucy when she retired from Tister Middle School as a principal in 2005. And we needed some records cleaned up and some filings straightened out, and we knew that Lucy could probably do that. So he hired her in as a part-time clerk to just file records. Well, it just snowballed from there because of her efficiency. And she was so good at what she was doing that we just continued to put things on her plate. And she does a lot for the police department, but not only the police department as a whole, but for me as a chief of the police department and for Mark Fields when he was the chief of the police department, because she does all the monthly reports and the ABC reports and all the log sheets for the citations, offense reports. If you need something, you look for Lucy to find it for you. And for that, Lucy, I thank you for what you do for me, but also for the Erlanger Police Department. Congratulations. Thank you.
Of course, you know I'd have to talk, being a former principal. But as Bob said, I started here in the summer of 1972 typing the tax bills, every individual tax bill with carbon paper between them. If you remember those days. Many of you weren't even born in 1972. But my father recruited me then because they needed help doing that. I typed tax bills and I sold city stickers when we used to have the vehicle city stickers. From that time on, I've never looked back. It morphed into different departments, different avenues. Mr. Bogart, you're the only department I haven't worked for in this city, so whatever you need, just let me know. I'll be there. I had even forgotten about Board of Adjustments, which I did for many years, and that's another thankless job, because when people come in front of the board, they've been told no and they want our appeal. But this city is home, and the people in the city are family. And I can't imagine being retired and sitting home. I flunked retirement big time, but I enjoy every day that I come to work, and I enjoy every day serving with these wonderful people in the city and for the citizens, because the job has to be done by someone, so I appreciate all the support that I've received throughout the years. And as I said, this is family, so I wouldn't have think of anything else. Thank you.
John Sterling. For those of you that are new here tonight, I want to say there's 3 recruits that stood up here before you. There's a reason why we're the top law enforcement agency in the state of Kentucky. And it's because of individuals that work in this police department that make us the #1 police department. These individuals, 3 individuals, not only come here to be police officers, but they know that they have so many different avenues that they can follow within this police department. And you're about to find out some of those avenues when I talk about John Sterling, because he's done just about all of them except for probably DARE and SRO. So John's getting his 20-year pin here tonight. He was hired as a dispatcher back in 1995. He worked 1.5 years as a dispatcher. Then he applied for the police department. We hired him in 1996. During his 20-year career, John worked in patrol, an FTO, field training officer, which he now oversees that program. He was assigned to investigations for 4 years. He's a member of the SRT team, Special Response Team. He's a member of the Accident Reconstruction Team and was promoted to sergeant in 2010. His wife, Angie, is not here tonight, but I believe his son, Cooper, is. It's in the back. Congratulations, John, and I'm proud to have you on the team.
Thanks, Chief. I sat in here 15 years ago when Chief Fields gave me, or I'm sorry, 5 years ago when Chief Fields gave me my 15-year pin. And he said a lot of the same things that Chief Ahrens just said. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but there was a Kenton County reporter, I guess, that reported on some of the things that were happening, including my 15-year pin. And there was a story that's quoted Chief Fields as, he's done just about everything there is to do at this police department. And I said, I'm going to pay for that. And lo and behold, cops being cops, the next day I came in and there's on the board, Super Cop John Sterling's done just about everything there is to do in the police department. And that's fine, because we're cops and I deserve it, honestly. So I'm not going to mention any names, but it was Jeff Mosher. Thank you for letting me serve. I mean, everything I've done here has been great. The only thing I really could offer as a new dispatcher was dedication. I think I've done a pretty good job so far, and I think I've probably served about 2/3 of what I plan to, so looking forward to the next 60 years. So thank you all very much.
All right, next on the agenda is the mayor's report, and I'll just go tell you real briefly, I've had a very busy few weeks. I've had the pleasure of spending time with Chief Ahrens and Colonel Wilson and Chief Whitaker, Dave Hahn, Mr. Fields, Mr. Bogard, touring all the different the fire stations, police stations, the public works facilities. It's been fantastic seeing that. I've also had the opportunity to ride a portion of a shift with Sergeant Kramer. I rode with the snowplow crew last night. That was a special treat. And attended the use of force seminar, and also got to attend the Shop with a Cop event. It's been fantastic, and I'm very appreciative of the opportunity. The next item on the agenda is the Standing Committee's organization discussion. The, let's see. Talked about this last night. Is there, do we need to read the municipal order?
It's in your list of legislation under the Bible there.
Okay.
Should be towards the end.
Okay. In the packet?
If you go down, it's further back.
Further down here. Read each one of these separately. Okay. Mr. Rookman, are you prepared to read this?
I'm prepared to read it, Mayor, if that is the wish of the council.
We read it first and then...
As I recall last night, there was some
debate,
question
discussion
about the particular terms of the ordinance. So I don't know if you want me to read it and then have discussion.
Yeah. I think it's
Okay.
open to council.
It's municipal order number 01-06-15-15-05. It's a municipal order of the City Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, establishing committees and the membership thereof, and authorizing the referral thereto for the recommendation thereof of any subject presented to the City Council with their consideration. By summary, the ordinance establishes standing committees of administration, police, fire, public works, economic development, and codes and building and zoning. I'm not sure that I have represented accurately the decision of the City Council in regard to the members of those committees, and certainly that is a subject for discussion. I would like to make this introductory comment, though. As indicated on your agenda, we have a number of standing committees, and we've got a number of other committees. And the ordinance that is referenced in the municipal order, ordinance number 1989, really doesn't authorize those kinds of committees. They, for whatever reason, the establishment of committees have gotten beyond what's identified in the ordinance that we're following. The terminology of standing committees and special committees has always been confusing to me. I wasn't involved in the decision about doing that, but my opinion is that those committees really ought to be identified as continuing committees and temporary committees. In addition to that, I don't see any reason for temporary committees. You have a number of committees that are identified in this municipal order or whatever municipal order you identify, and I don't see any reason for creating special committees. Those committees that are identified are sufficient to handle anything that might be presented to you. So my recommendation is forget about temporary committees. You identify the committees that you're going to form yourselves into, and then when an issue comes up that needs to be referred to the committee, refer it to a committee that you've already organized. Forget about special committees. That's my personal opinion. You all can do it any way you want to.
So just to clarify, are you saying that we should make all of the committees continuing committees? Or are you saying we should do away with the ones that we're calling
I wouldn't identify them as continuing committees. I wouldn't identify them as special committees. I would identify them simply as committees. And anything that comes up gets referred to one of the committees you've identified.
Okay.
Does that bother anybody, or?
I just want to make sure I got this right. So you're saying all these little committees here should be tossed into these 6 main ones here?
That's what I'm recommending, yes, ma'am.
That then the mayor would assign whatever to my committee or your committee or whatever?
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Like he always has.
More or less.
I think what we had, like when we had the Erlanger Housing Committee, the reason why we formed that committee was only because it was in conjunction with Brighton Center. And we had to have 6 members from Brighton Center and 6 members from the city of Erlanger. And that's how that got developed. So that wasn't like one just committee reporting to one of these committees. It was a special committee designed because we were going to try to work with Brighton Centers in setting up a senior citizens home at first. And we just went on with it, and we've never changed that. So now I think you can fill in with one of these because it's going to be members of council anyway on that committee.
Right.
So I have no problem with that whatsoever. And the committees, the way they're set up now is the way we ended last night's meeting is who went on what committee. So those people who are assigned those committees are the ones on this order tonight.
Right.
So.
I will make one other comment, and that is that the document that you have in front of you does not identify what has been identified as the quote unquote cleanup committee. That probably could be included in codes and building and zoning.
That was the intention, yes.
But I didn't think it was, and I think there should be an additional committee added to that list. There's been some concern about the connotation of the cleanup committee, and a suggestion that it might be titled something else. I would agree with that, and I would, of course, Ms. Pitts and Mr. Cahill have been the members of that committee from its beginning, and I would suggest that that be continued.
So the question I have is then from the ordinance last night, 1989, I mean, if we're going by those committees that are on there, we should still, no? We should still have a fire and rescue committee?
There is no.
It's crossed off.
Okay, okay,
No.
all right. So,
You're not restricted by that ordinance in regard to the committees you want to form at all.
okay.
What's in front of you is what developed last night. You're certainly free to change it any way you want to.
Okay.
Ms. Rookman, does it have to be decided tonight regarding the cleanup Erlanger committee? Is that something that we can?
It does. The ordinance 1989 says it shall be, those committees shall be formed at the first regular meeting of the city council.
I'm thinking that we're forgetting some of the other, there were other committees. There was the housing.
But that can go under, that could be a committee under the codes and building and zoning.
Right.
And just those people will assign anybody who wants to join that, because I talked earlier with David today, David Hahn, and we're talking about a 4-member committee along with members of the staff here putting this committee together, and that'd be a good committee to put that under.
That makes sense.
There's a little something different about the Erlanger Housing Corporation, because it is actually a corporation.
Right. Because
So
we had to
there's
have
incorporation papers and everything else for that. So those people named in those incorporation papers have to be there. We've discussed that some already, and we need to be making some changes to that and who that goes. So I don't think there's a real need to have that right now.
No.
Is the Erlanger Housing Corporation, because that's going to be a different than a committee. That's
Well,
going
when
to be something.
David and I talked today about it, he was going to get together with the mayor and Mr. Viox and yourself and Frank and talk about revamping the whole program.
It needs
So,
to be revamped.
Okay.
But we need to change the cleanup tonight. Cleanup
Yes, sir.
Erlanger. So we need
so
to,
we could just add the Erlanger Cleanup Committee tonight and put Tom Cahill and Corinne Pitts involved in that.
what would you guys like it to be called?
Yeah. Do you have ideas?
Like for instance, my committee, which was the Friendship Garden Committee,
that job has been completed and to everyone's satisfaction. So, however, it needs to be addressed once a year, and that could certainly be addressed by admin, just to keep it updated.
We had talked about that and
Yes.
said it would staff. I think it's the 1st of
Right.
October.
Right.
Every year we review those service things, so then we can report that. We can report that to you.
The Progress and Revitalization Committee. Does that sound good for cleanup?
I love it.
That's good.
I think it sounds good. I couldn't hear you, Corinne. What did you?
Progress and Revitalization. That was from Brain.
To rename the cleanup.
Yeah, good.
I had other ideas, but we're not allowed to say them on the air.
One was from Anchorman.
Not so sure you want to share, yeah.
That's good. There we go.
Well, can we entertain a motion to adopt what are we calling it? Revitalization?
Revitalize. Yeah.
Progress and Revitalization.
Progress and Revitalization Committee in the place of Cleanup Erlanger with the
Make a motion.
representatives of Mr. Cahill and Ms. Pitts. Got a
I think
motion.
he's making a motion.
Motion by Mr. Cahill.
Second.
By Ms. Pitts. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, Mayor, with
And
that
then-
correction, then we need a vote on the municipal order.
Okay. So then, the municipal order that Mr. Wickman read regarding the what's labeled on here as standing committees, but now we will be calling them just committees.
That's correct.
Correct.
Sounds good.
Can we have a motion? Motion by Mr. Blankenship, second by Ms. Sedkamp. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Wickman.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, the reports of these committees now. Public Safety, Police. Chief Ahrens, do you have anything to report? Yes, sir. All right. Public Safety, Fire and EMS. Chief Whitaker, do you have anything to report? Thank you. Sorry, I didn't see you.
He took a class on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Public Works. Mr. Bogard, do you have anything to report? No, sir. Thank you. Administration, Ms. Andrus. Finance, Mr. Engelman.
God, here he comes.
Here he comes. Ruler of string.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
If I start coughing,
I
please
thought we were
bear
going to
with
get out of
me.
here for halftime. Are you
My
okay?
report's very, very short and sweet. You've all gotten copies of the audit report in your mail. We're requesting a Finance Committee meeting for the 20th to have that formally presented by the auditors to the Finance Committee. And I believe that's it. If you have not gotten a copy of the audit, please let me know. We'll make sure you get a copy, but you should have one in your boxes. You should have also gotten the November 30th financial statements as well. If you didn't get those, let me know.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Should we go ahead and Ms. Hopkins? No report, no final report for Friendship City Networking? It's just not called that anymore. All right.
We're good.
Yeah.
It's Mark Stewart. We need to text him about the meeting. You want to report, Mark? Mr. Stewart?
For codes and building.
Codes for building and zoning.
I have received a request from a business who will be located on Dixie Highway for a text amendment, so I'd like to request a committee to discuss this whenever you guys are ready, so.
To discuss it this evening?
No, we discuss at a committee meeting.
Oh, okay.
20th, yeah.
20th would be
Wonderful.
fine. Request that to be done on the 20th, along with the other one, finance?
This one shouldn't take very long.
No, it shouldn't.
It's just the
That's what I'm saying.
verbiage. It should be very quick.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. HR committee. Yeah, that's good. Very good.
All right, next on the agenda are the reports of the special committees. And I think we've spoken this evening already about the Clean Up Erlanger. We are changing the name of that. And then the Friendship Garden Committee, Ms. Sudkamp mentioned that the goal of the committee has been achieved, and from here it's going to be reported on by staff. You've heard the reports of our standing and special committees. Do I entertain a motion that they be adopted as presented? Motion by Ms. Kyle, second by Mr. Cahill. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is the reports of representatives. Are there any reports from our representatives?
Got too many pages here.
Chamber of Commerce? Mr. Dunhoff, Mr. Burke?
No, sir. John?
No.
All right. Historical Society? Ms. Kyle? No. Erlanger Housing Development?
Just what I said earlier, Dave's going to revamp that program and get together with you and CEO and Mr. Viox and going to rework and probably just start this whole program all over again.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. On the Kenton County Mayor's Group, Mr. Fields attended this last meeting. I think one of the primary discussions of the meeting is an issue that they've been working with, redesigning the paving for the paving standards for Kenton County subdivisions to deal with a thing that's called street creep. And were there any other items that need to be addressed from that?
I don't believe so. I believe that was the only one. Mr. Viox was on that committee that came up with those standards. I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I think they're going in front of the Planning Commission in February.
Correct.
I think is what the goal is, to have them adopted, and they're all subdivision roadway regulations.
Been working on it for about 2.5 years.
Yes, long time.
The next Kenton County Mayor's Group meeting is Saturday, January 17th at 9 a.m. at, is it Crestview Hills this month?
Yes.
It's at PDS?
I think it's at PDS.
It moves every month. I can give an update on that.
Yeah, it's at PDS. It was at Crestview Hills last month.
Okay.
It's PDS, Planning Development Services on Royal Drive. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right. KLC, Mr. Howard, do you have anything to report?
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Municipal Government League, Mr.
Nothing to
Howard?
report, Mayor.
OKI,
We meet on Thursday at the elections on Thursday, so.
PDS, Mr. Blankenship, is there anything to report?
Nothing to report.
NKADD, Ms. Hopkins? Kenton County Alliance, Ms. Skidmore?
Yes, I just want to report that the meetings for the Kenton County Alliance are open meetings. Anybody can come to those. They are the first Friday of the month. They're from 12:30 until 2 or a little longer, depends on how talkative we get. And that meeting is held in the Inzer Administrative Building over by Tishner Middle School. And we have been successful in getting CVS to stop selling cigarettes in their stores. We work on alcohol control, drug control, and I would still like to serve on that committee, or that extra. That's it.
All right, okay. Thank you. Reports of the city operations. Our city engineer, Mr. Biox.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything to report?
I do, sir. The December meeting, we took bids on 2 projects, if you recall. One was Mary Street and MacArthur. It's a very large project and subject to the prevailing wage scale. We would have done that project early last year, except that we were notified by the water district that there was a need to replace the water line, and we didn't want the street torn up again. So we cooperated with the water district and delayed the construction until they could get their water system reconstructed on both of those streets. They now have completed it. We have the contractor in line to start as soon as possible in the spring. So hopefully we'll have that project done during this budget year before July 1st. Also mentioned that we took bids on Sunset, and we would like to get that one going so we can have it done before school starts again in the fall. Other than that, we have a number of projects that we had to stop because of the weather. In fact, we had at least one we didn't even get started because we were afraid to get it torn up and not being able to get the people back in their properties during the winter months, so we're holding it, but the rest of the projects are progressing very well. That's all I have, sir.
Good, thank you. Our city attorney, Mr. Wickman, do you have anything to
Mayor,
report?
I do have a number of items to discuss tonight. Usually I don't have a whole lot to say, but tonight I've got a few things I do want to say. First of all, I'd like to introduce my daughters, Christy, Arthur, and Kim. What's your last name, Quinn? Either or both of them will be attending our meetings from now on. Secondly, I'd like to identify the fact that probably the last month has been the most strenuous and tedious month that I've experienced in an awful long time. I don't mean to insult anybody, and please don't take this out of context, but last month, all of the ingredients of what my opinion would be a municipal disaster, we came into being. Erlanger has never, in my experience, had any situations developed where there has been conflicting and aggravating circumstances that became a public disaster or a public publicity disaster, in my opinion. This month after the election, all those pieces came into place for that to happen. We have long-term council members who are reelected. And again, don't take this wrong. I'm not criticizing. I think it's a compliment. But many of you incumbents are, quote unquote, pretty stubborn, in my opinion. And that's probably good because you have convictions and you want to express those convictions and hope other people agree with you. On the other hand, we have a newly elected mayor who is not an incumbent. He doesn't know you all. And again, in my experience of over almost 50 years in this position, that's never happened before. We've never had a mayor, in my opinion, who was elected and who the city council incumbents did not have some knowledge and some relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is it's never happened before. We're in uncharted waters. And I was extremely concerned and nervous about the quote-unquote special meeting that was called last night. It turned out to be a pretty productive meeting, in my opinion. And I want to compliment each and every one of you about that. It was conducted in a proper, at least in my opinion, in a proper manner. There were differences of opinion. They were expressed in an affirmative manner. And to quote Mr. Blankenship, you all didn't agree on everything, but you didn't become disagreeable in the process. And I think that's a compliment to every one of you. I also want to say that I think part of the reason for that is because we have a city council composed of 12 members. In my opinion, that's a benefit. Mayor Hermes and I discussed that, and we respectfully disagree with each other, I think. I will refer him to our city finance director, Mr. Engelman, who probably has worked for more cities and has more knowledge about the way cities operate than anybody in this room. He has expressed to me when he took the job, he was seriously concerned about a 12-member council and how that operates and how it functions. And I think we've convinced him that it's a good thing. At least in the city of Erlanger, it's a good thing. Again, I want to emphasize we are now in uncharted waters. We just have never been here before, and I am concerned about what to expect, and it's because we don't know. We don't know how things are going to happen. That's going to bring me to the next subject I want to talk about, and that is I want to request, not only request, I want to implore each one of you to attend the Citizens Academy that's conducted by the Kentucky League of Cities. It's this month, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, I believe. And I know it's a 3-day deal. You know, the registration is Wednesday morning, the first sessions are Wednesday afternoon, all day Thursday there are sessions, and there are sessions Friday morning. So basically it's a commitment of 3 days of your time.
Lexington.
It's in Lexington, Kentucky. And I know you all have other commitments. You've got employment commitments, I'm sorry. You've got family commitments. But each one of you also made a commitment to this city. And I think it is almost imperative that you attend that academy. And the reason is this, and again, it's because we're in uncharted waters. The mayor's going to attend to it. I think Mr. Meyer is committed to attend to it. And the importance of it is that all of you start on the same page. We've never had to do that before because we were always on the same page, because we always knew each other. We could anticipate personalities and how things were going to be conducted and so forth. We're not there now. I think it is important that each one of you, if you can, if you can't, I understand that, but most employers allow sick days when people aren't sick, and they allow personal days. I'm just asking you, imploring you again, that if there's any way at all you can participate in that academy, I am asking that you do so. The last, pretty much exhausts what I wanted to talk about. There is one other item, and I think, did you all receive a proposed ordinance in regard to the restriction of the mayor's at-will termination authority? They did not?
No, that's to be discussed at the committee.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. What I'm going to do is request a reference of that item to the committee meetings on the 20th. You all have, there's an ordinance on the book. There's been one there for a while. We've amended it a couple of times, and it involves the city council's authority to restrict the mayor's authority to terminate employees at will. there have been recent developments in interpretation of the language of the statutes that generated that ordinance. I think it needs to be discussed, and I think that ordinance needs to be amended, and I would like to have that referred to a committee on the 20th to discuss that item.
Is that the same 20th when the Kentucky League of Cities thing is?
No, this would be the Tuesday night. The academy starts on a Wednesday morning, so it's the night before.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
A request. Second. Motion by Mr. Burke, second by Mr. Meyer. Any discussion? Yeah.
Take it on.
Should we
I'll take the committee. I want it.
Admin?
Administration would be
That
the
makes sense.
appropriate committee.
That would be
Yes.
appropriate.
Good job.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Wickman, anything else?
That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. City Administrator, Mr. Fields?
I have no report.
Wow.
Don't get used to that.
I know.
You've heard the reports of our representatives and city operations. Do I entertain a motion that they be adopted as presented? Motion by Mr. Howard, second by Ms. Pitts. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next up is our correspondence. Mrs. Hoffman, do you have any correspondence this evening?
I do, sir. The Administration Department employees received a letter from Family Resource Center Coordinator Tracy Molly with Arnett Howe Lindeman Elementary Schools. She thanked the employees for adopting families for their 2014 Christmas Assistance Program, and Mrs. Molly included the following letters. They're from several of the families that we helped out. Thank you for helping out our family this holiday season. It means a lot during this difficult time for us. Thank you so much for helping my children have a great Christmas. This has been a hard year, and your kindness means the world to our family. And thank you very much for helping us with gifts for our kids this year. We appreciate it very much. And the Administration Department staff also received a letter from Tichenor Youth Service Coordinator Karen.
Fantastic.
She thanked the employees for donating gift cards to purchase holiday assistance for their students and families. They served roughly 200 students this holiday season. And I want to add, we do have a resident in Erlanger who also helped out with that.
Nice. Thank you. Is there any other correspondence to read? All right, next up is our citizen public comments. We've got two people on the list this evening. Mr. Brown.
Need to give your name and address, if you don't mind.
Social Security.
Firstborn.
It's all on there. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I'll be brief. I know it's late. I just want to take the opportunity to publicly thank all of you that I served with in the last 4 years. It was a great honor and privilege to work with all of you, and I learned a lot, and it was a great experience. Especially want to thank my chairman, Mr. Cahill and Mr. Burke I worked under. I appreciate your leadership and everything I learned from you. And I also want to thank the department heads I worked and served under, Ms. Anderson, Mr. Bogart. You guys do an outstanding job, and it was a privilege and an honor to serve with you. The other thing I want to do is I want to welcome the new mayor. Welcome, sir, as well as the new council members, my friend Gary Meyer and Mr. Skidmore. I want to wish you guys the best of luck in the new term. If there's anything I can do to be of assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. And last but not least, I want to key off something that Mr. Wickman talked about, the KLC Academy. I attended 4 years ago when I was first elected, and it was a tremendous experience, and I was privileged enough to get to attend a couple of the legal sessions with Mr. Wickman and pull on his ear a little bit and learn even more. So if you can make it in any way, I highly recommend it. Thank you all, and good luck in the new term.
Hey, Jim, just real quick, before we clap and say goodbye and all that fun stuff.
This isn't goodbye, by the way.
I know. Did you do the Kenton County Government Academy too?
I did that, yeah, long time ago before I was elected.
How was that?
That was really good. It was the inaugural year, so we all kind of learned a lot and worked together. But that was a great experience as well. Yeah.
So it starts on the 26th. It's a 10-week program on Monday nights.
And we had, I mean, that was a very diverse group as well. We had a couple homeschool kids. We had some longtime residents. We had some new residents. That was a great experience as well, and got to see all the different functions of the county, as well as got to visit a couple different cities and see how they were run, council, mayor, system, that type of thing. So that was a good experience as well.
I have that, if anybody's interested, I have that letter. So.
Yeah, it's definitely worth your time.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
I would like to make one other comment regarding the KLC three-day event. Mr. Wickman, am I correct? You are planning to attend that as well? I think that says a lot
and my
for
daughter
it.
Christy is also.
Fantastic. That says a lot for it, for the gravity of that event. Mr. Wickman could probably be getting up and teaching everything that, or leading all those seminars himself. He's highly respected among every lawyer in the state, but he's going to attend it just like any of us would. And I think that says a lot for it and says a lot for Mr. Wickman. Thank you. The next name we have here for public comment is Georgette Nordland. Thank you. All right. Next up are our bids. Mrs. Hoffman, are there any bids tonight?
No, sir.
All right. Does anyone else have any bids to discuss?
No, sir.
All right. Then next up is our work in progress. I don't know who would report on that. Is there nothing to report? Yeah, constantly, yeah. Thank you, Patty, that's nice. Okay, then the next is our business for the good and welfare of the city. Are there any representatives? Ms. Skidmore?
It was brought to my attention with this Commonwealth Station thing going on. I know it went on tonight. It was an overlap, but I don't know who did it, don't care who did it, but this is an informational only, and I know people will go online and hear this. Someone went door to door on to the properties in the Commonwealth Station quadrant, hanging flyers from the mailboxes. This is a felony. Some of the punishments include imprisonment and or taking the responsibility, making the responsible party pay for every house in the area affected. Not allowed to put it between the flag and the mailbox. You're not allowed to put it in the mailbox unless you pay postage. That's how the post office makes their money. They sell stamps. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
All right.
Good point.
All right, then the next up is our legislation. Mr. Wickman, would you please read the legislation?
Yes, sir. The first item is an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, amending the text of the table of contents in sections 7.0, 8.2, 919, 9.24, 9.26, 9.32, 9.35, 11.3, 17.0, 17.1, and 17.2 of the Erlanger zoning ordinance numbered 1850 to change various terms that are no longer in use to terms now in use and to clearly define who is the floodplain administrator. By summary, the ordinance complies with the recommendations of the Kenton County Planning Commission to make changes in the Erlanger zoning ordinance that are not substantive. I repeat, they are not substantive changes. The reason for those changes are simply that what was formerly known as the Northern Kentucky Area Development District decided to change their name, and they've changed it to the Planning and Development Services of Kenton County. Unfortunately, those terms appear in all of these sections of the zoning ordinance are identified. And to make our zoning ordinance comply with those changes, we have to make those text amendments to our zoning ordinances. Additionally, it defines who the floodplain administrator is. Believe it or not, there are floodplains in the city of Erlanger. In order to qualify for FEMA funding, we have to enact an ordinance that complies with their regulations. Many of those regulations, in my opinion, are not in conformity with the way our zoning ordinance operates. For instance, they identify a process for an appeal from one of the decisions in regard to floodplains to the Board of Adjustments. In my opinion, the statutory jurisdiction of the Board of Adjustments doesn't include that function, but the federal agency says you have to do it anyway, so we do it. With that summary, that's the substance of the ordinance. First reading, we do not need a vote on it.
I ask the Assistant City Clerk to please note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance.
We've already done the Municipal Order No. 1 for the appointment of Mr. Franks to the Code Enforcement Board. Okay. The next item is Municipal Order 1-6-15-02. It's a municipal order of the City Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the appointment of Council Member Bill Howard as the principal representative of the city to the Municipal Government League of Northern Kentucky, and Council Member Gary Meyer as the alternative representative.
Can we get a motion? Ms. Kyle, seconded by Mr. Cahill. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is Municipal Order Number 1-06-15-03. It's a municipal order of the City Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the appointment of Mayor Tyson Hermes as the representative of the city to the Northern Kentucky Planning Development Services, and Council Member Randy Blankenship as the alternate.
Can we get a motion? Mr. Meyer, seconded by Mr. Burke. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is Municipal Order Number 01-06-15-04. It's a municipal order of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, adopting rules of procedures for the meeting of the Erlanger City Council. Attached to them is a copy of the rules that identify regular meetings, special meetings, council committees, regular committee meetings, special committee meetings, seatings, quorums, presiding officer, parliamentary procedure, order of business, and
now, does this need to get, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Does this need to get updated since we've taken away the term special meeting or special committees?
It does. It needs to be deleted.
Should we save this
The
for next
motion would
month?
be to adopt the municipal order with the amendment of deleting section 1.3.2.
Okay.
Motion.
Motion? Mr. Dunhoff? Second. Second by Mr. Meyer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. We do not want to delete 1.3.2. That addresses the special meetings of the committees. It does not deal with
Committees.
special committees, which we've deleted.
Oh, okay.
But section 1.3.2 should remain in there. So the motion to adopt with that amendment should be withdrawn.
Okay, we'll do that over again.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Thank you. I'm just looking through the rest of it here.
It do you need to do?
So the
something?
motion should be adopted, to adopt the municipal order without that amendment,
As written.
as written. Thank you.
All right. So a motion. It's Kyle,
Yeah.
seconded by Mr. Blankenship. Any discussion? Opposed? Or excuse me, all in favor say aye.
Aye. All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The last item is municipal order 1-06-15-06. It's a municipal order of the City Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the appointment of Jim Spear as a member of the Code Enforcement Board for the City of Erlanger.
Motion? By Mr. Burke. Seconded by Mr. Howard. Any discussion?
Is he here tonight?
He is not.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Fire on that Board of Adjustments.
Any other discussion?
A reappointment of Jim.
Yeah, that's not correct. It is not reappointment.
The one I've got says appointment.
Yep.
Mine says reappointment as well.
Mine does too.
Yeah, it does. That was the original version. It was amended. And it's correct. It is approving the appointment, not the reappointment.
He was, when he ran on it, he was against all codes.
But the
when he ran
third
for office.
paragraph
He got
says
feelings.
reappointment, even though the second paragraph says
Right,
appointment.
I see it there. Oh,
It's in the title. It's in the second paragraph
yep.
and the last paragraph.
Good catch.
I know.
So it's written once in the third paragraph.
Right.
Okay, mine does not say it in the title.
Mine doesn't.
So with that correction on the reappointment in the third paragraph being changed to appointment,
Used it a couple of times.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Right?
No,
How does that?
they voted I didn't count, but my recollection is that it was unanimous to not enact the municipal order. They voted against it.
There's one aye, four, and
Should we have a roll call vote?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
So the vote would either be aye or nay on the adoption of the municipal order.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
that's why I wanted to explain it to you, because it.
Okay, so, so can we have a roll call vote?
Yes, sir.
Can we have some more discussion
Sure.
on this? So my question is anybody, did we remove somebody from this board in order to make this position? Did we ask somebody to step off? I guess is the question. Or not to come back?
I did not ask anyone not to come back.
Okay.
There is a time limit on the seat, and there was one seat that was coming to the end of the term, and I was not familiar with who that person was.
Okay.
And
So we voted on Mr. Franks tonight. Who else sits on the board? Just to refresh our memories.
there are 6 people, I believe, and I don't have that in front of me. I can get that.
Code Enforcement Board?
Yes.
Yeah,
Code Enforcement Board, yes.
Conley and
Not 6.
Is that Rui?
No,
that's
Jim's
Board of
on it,
Adjustments.
Mr. Franks is on it, Mr.
Miller?
Miller's on it.
I think Mr. Miller's the one that was not going to be.
There's only 4 of us, isn't there?
Only 4, I think.
I
It's
don't
Mr.
recall.
Herman.
Kim,
He was here tonight.
you know the answer?
That's right. There's 5 of us. There's 5 of us, 4 of my, and I'm the chairman, it's the
Right.
5th one.
You're right. Mr. Miller, Mr. Gronefeld, Mr.
Herman.
Franks,
Who just got replaced?
Tim Herman.
Mr. Herman and Jim. Now, I don't know what terms expire when, but those are the members.
For years.
And
I can go get them. You want me to go? No?
Yes. Let's take a recess for about 5 minutes till we can find it.
Okay.
It's in our council packet, Mark, that Sherry just gave all the council members last night.
Mr. Meyer has his.
There.
Should brought mine out.
All right. Right there? We're getting there, yeah.
Code Enforcement Board.
Oh, next page.
I think it's Mr. Miller's term that's expiring.
Okay, Mr. Vayax is the chairman.
Yes.
Members are Mr. Herman, Mr. Franks, Mr. Grunfeld, and on this one it's Mr. Spear. That's what you're voting on now. That would be replacing Mr. Miller.
Yeah.
When do the terms expire?
Mr. Herman, 2016. Mr. Franks, now 2017. Mr. Grunfeld, December 31st, 2016. And then if Mr. Spear is approved, 2017.
So Mr. Miller would be expiring in 2015. It's a 2-year term, right?
It was December of this year. Missy?
December of
2014.
I think it expired the 14th, or December 14th.
Who expired December the 14th?
Mr. Miller.
Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller? He the only one?
Yes.
No.
No, Mr. Franks too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mr. Franks, because you just
Franks.
reappointed.
We just
Mr. Franks, did he read?
So the issue is between Mr. Miller
Mr. Miller and Mr. Spire.
or Spire, yes, okay.
Ask Mr. Miller if he wanted to stay.
I did not.
Well, let's ask him now.
Yeah, Mr. Miller, would you care to come to the podium? Address council?
Just give the guy a service pen, and they don't ask him.
And I'll just explain that I don't know Mr. Miller.
Sir?
And yes, sir. And that there's nothing, that doesn't mean anything really. But I had requested if I could speak with Mr. Miller. I think there was quite a few people that were not as familiar, and I did speak with Mr. Franks as well. I do know Mr. Franks personally, and he had mentioned that this board meets infrequently. He said it's been a couple years since it's met. I think that's a good sign that there are not a lot of issues that have to be addressed on a regular basis. I know Mr. Spire. He was a candidate for city council. I know he wants to be involved with the city government, and I had asked if he would serve on this committee.
I'm sorry, I don't get it. Get someone else aside, Mr. Brendan aside?
So,
Am I missing something here?
you are not. This is a position that's my appointment. It's for the city council to approve it or not.
Mr. Miller still want to serve?
Are you still interested in being on the board?
At your pleasure, sir.
Thank you. I put the other one up for vote.
All right. Does somebody want to present a motion?
I believe there is a motion on the floor already that has been
We
seconded.
got a motion on the floor to talk about Mr. Spire first.
Okay, so.
You want to take a roll call vote?
Getting ready to do a roll call.
All right. Roll call vote.
Ms. Skidmore?
No.
Ms. Cahill?
No.
Ms. Sudkamp?
No.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes?
Mr. Blankenship?
No.
Mr. Howard?
No.
Ms. Pitts?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Cahill?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Kyle?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Burke?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Dunhoft?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Skidmore?
No.
So Frank, now the motion carries?
Does not. They all
Oh,
voted, they all
okay.
voted no.
Motion does not carry.
That's right.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Now I make a motion, we accept Mr. Miller back as a reappointment to.
But that's up to the mayor to make the appointment, correct?
That is correct.
The mayor has to make the appointment.
You're premature.
I thought somebody
Without
else-
his appointment, there's nothing
Okay.
for you to act on.
Okay.
I will accept that. I was unfamiliar with Mr. Miller. I see tonight that he's getting a service pin for a number of years of service. If you're willing to continue to serve, I would motion that we re-accept Mr. Miller on the board.
Thank you, council.
Motion
I'll make a motion, we accept.
by Mr. Dunhoff, seconded by Mr. Burke. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
So what I will do,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
what we will do would be revise the municipal order 1/6/1506 to substitute the name of Mr. Miller for Mr. Spire, and to again identify it as a reappointment instead of a new appointment.
All right, thank you.
When will we swear Mr. Miller in? Just swear him in. Can we do that?
Yes, we can do that tonight.
All right.
We can.
We can do it tonight, Missy.
Mr.
Well,
Miller?
No.
No?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Sure we can.
Yes.
The mayor has agreed.
We'll
to that.
swear you in tonight. Come on down.
Mayor has recommended that appointment. Of course, approved that appointment.
He thought he was going out for a sandwich. Here he is.
Third scene?
Second scene, what? Mr. Hubert Miller, are you ready to take the constitutional oath? Please place your left hand on the Bible and your right hand, and raise your right hand. Do you, Hubert Miller, solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute, to the best of your ability, the office of Code Enforcement Board Member, according to the law, and do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you being a citizen of the state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within the state nor out of it, nor have you sent the challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God. Congratulations.
Alrighty then.
All right.
That's it.
So the last thing on our agenda is adjournment. Do I entertain a motion to adjourn? Ms. Skidmore? Seconded. Ms. Kyle? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.